This is Border Crossings. I'm Larry London. On today's show, we are joined by the Irish duo, brothers Harry and Alfie Hudson Taylor. In 2015, Hudson Taylor released their debut album, Singing for Strangers, which produced 3 hit songs. Since their start, they've released 5 EPs, and their newest album is called Bear Creek to Dame Street. Hudson Taylor have seen their music top the Irish iTunes chart and have toured with the Lumineers, Vance Joy, The Script, and others. They are currently on a headline tour in the U.S. Harry and Alfie Hudson Taylor perform music from their new CD, Bear Creek to Dame Street, on today's Border Crossings. Hi, I'm Larry London. Welcome to Border Crossings. On tour for a brand new EP, which is number 5 in their collection. Hudson Taylor are here in D.C., and we'd like to welcome the guys all the way from Dublin to Washington. Nice to have you.
Larry, hello. It's great to be here.
Now, first of all, I'm very confused because at one time it was Harry and Alfie, and when you started, and then it became Hudson Taylor. And your brothers, and so where are the names? How did you come up with these names?
Harry and Alfie, is our first name, and our surname is Hudson Taylor. So we started off. We started off just playing on the street and uploading songs onto YouTube. We didn't really expect it to be anything professional or, something that we would do as a career. And then, as we kind of went along, things started growing. Started writing our own songs, and figured we needed a name to represent larger collective of people in the band, and something that sounded a little less like our first names.
And you started off, you two were obviously been brothers your whole lives, but you started off musically in about 2011 or thereabouts?
2008, yeah, 10 years ago we started playing together as this under the moniker Harry and Alfie.
2011 then we became Hudson Taylor. We were all along.
Right.
Yeah.
So why did you guys decide to make a band together? I mean, that's a tough decision because it puts a lot of strain on the family dynamic.
We totally fell into it. It was completely it just happened. I mean, I brought my guitar on a family holiday 10 years ago, and this kind of triggered the moment where we started playing together, and we were just playing covers for people, and eventually, ended up putting things on YouTube, and it just turned into a hobby that we were doing at the weekends. I was away at boarding school at the time, and Alfie was back home in Dublin, and every weekend when I'd come home, we'd just, as something to do, we'd put up videos, and from there progressed to going onto the street busking. This was in like the financial crisis had just happened, so our mum was kind of like, no more pocket money for you guys, get out and make your own money. So we went out to the streets of Dublin, Temple Bar and Grafton Street, and started kind of going busking there. Actually, we met these 2 fellas who were on the outside here busking as well. They were out on the street doing their own bit of busking, and we decided to combine. And so they'd been playing with the band since then, basically. And this is Holly, our sister.
Hello, Holly.
So it's a nice little family thing going on. I mean, it's definitely it has its moments being in a close quarters with your family members. But I think it's kind of, if you're in close quarters with anybody for a long period of time, you have to just be wary of that. But we love it. It's great.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. We wanted to do something that we enjoyed doing, and from a very early age, it was our kind of bread and butter. It was also just something we were doing with our spare time, and kind of fell into it that way.
Now, when you reach a disagreement, who has the final word?
It's pretty,
nothing like a little get them going, stir the pot right away.
It's just compromise, really. just compromise all the time.
So who we got here today? Introduce everybody that you brought along. These are all brothers? You said brothers?
Yeah, brothers. It's kind of brothers.
Busking brothers?
We're all a big family now. So to my left, we have Tig Walsh Pilo on fiddle. He plays mandolin and a bunch of other instruments as well. His brother will go straight over here. Oisin Walsh Pilo on the keys and playing some harmonica, some whistles and stuff like that. Our dear sister Holly on vocals and percussion.
And we're from Dublin, and the lads are from Wicklow. It's just a county just south of Dublin.
Since it's Harry and Alfie, used to be Harry and Alfie, it wasn't Holly, Harry and Alfie. I mean, at what point did you add your sister to the mix?
Just more recently, in the last year or so. She's just, she's not officially kind of with us, I suppose. But it just works pretty well. She can join in and sing harmonies and. Yeah,
we're very lucky to have her when we can. She has an amazing voice. I'm going to make her go slightly red now, but yeah.
Well, we've got Hudson Taylor in our studios, and you guys are ready to play, so I'm going to let you do what you do. And what's this song called?
This song's called Feel It Again.
Feel It Again. All right. Hudson Taylor live here on Border Crossings.
1, 2, 1, 2. I used to dance at the devil's feet. He made me feel like I'd never want to go home. Oh! Thought he'd save my soul. Sipping at the bottom of an empty glass. No, I don't remember going to hell and back, but I know I was out of control. I don't wanna do this anymore. Gotta pick myself up off the floor. Let it rain, let it pour. Let the tears come down like a waterfall. I'd rather live with the pain and I feeling nothing at all. Penny in the wishing well, one for the road, and I tell myself to go home. Oh, it's better than being alone. Heart is cold as a block of ice, playing with fire and I don't think twice, but I know I'm slipping away my soul. I don't wanna do this anymore. Gotta pick myself up off the floor. Let it rain, let it pour. Let the tears come down like a waterfall. I'd rather live with the pain and I feel nothing at all. So come on, let it in, 'cause you can't feel love till you jump right in. So whenever it hits me, I'm ready to feel it again. La 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 la.
Sounding great. Hudson Taylor.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you very much.
So you guys twins, obviously.
No, we're very close in age.
Just close in age. Well, you look identical. You look
really?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, other than you have the long hair, he has the short hair. You got the dark. He's got a little lighter.
You're one of the first to say that, I have to say.
Are you similar in personalities too?
No, we're quite different.
Quite different.
Yeah.
Because we had a set of twins on performing recently.
Okay.
And they were the identical twins that
Really?
finish each other's sentence.
Yeah,
And
no, we're like
think the
we're
same.
about 18 months apart in age. So,
Uh-huh.
no, I think these two look more like than.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. I don't know. Maybe I need my
Yeah.
eyes checked again.
I don't know. No, we are different. We're different people, I suppose. Obviously.
And so, do you write the songs together, or is one of you the writes the melody, the other writes the lyrics? What's the process?
It's
for that?
different every time. We've changed over the years. I mean, initially Alfie was always writing lyric stuff anyway from the beginning, and he was also not as musical initially. He didn't play any instruments, so it was quite an interesting dynamic because he would come to me with a guitar that was completely in a weird tuning that he just made up, and then he'd play all these interesting shapes, and I'd be like, my mind would be melting, but I'd also be like trying to like just break it down and go, wow, like realize how cool it is for someone that isn't approaching it from the idea of knowing what chord it is. And
I really only got into playing music just to write songs.
Yeah, so we had this kind of relationship mainly at the start where Alfie was doing a lot of lyrics and I was kind of helping construct the music and refining some of the melodies and harmonies. And then kind of more in recent years we've kind of done a thing where it's a bit more like bringing each other different ideas. Another way that we write is by just jamming. So we might just be sitting in an environment like this and something will just start happening. And a few of our songs.
Crossing.
Yeah,
There you go. I like it.
Yeah.
I hear a hit. I hear a number one.
Border crossing. Yeah. No, we had a few songs that just came really very instantaneously. Like, I mean, you hear people, this happens to people, but it's a really strange thing. You can't really explain it. Like 1 minute there's nothing, the next minute there's a full blown song, and you just happen to have your iPhone there or whatever on record, and you captured the moment, and you listen back to those 4 minutes you record, and it's there. You know, you just have to just spend 10-15 minutes fixing it, and that's a rare one, but I love when that happens.
Where's the most unusual place that you've ever had inspiration to write a song or created a song?
Well, there's the shower. That happens to me all the time.
That's not unusual.
I
That's
jump out of
uncommon.
the shower going, get me a pen, get me a pen. I need to, yeah. Soap in my face. You know,
It's pretty
just
normal.
like, yeah.
The songwriters find a lot of songs in their sleep too. They wake up in the middle of the night.
I'm yet to have that lucky situation happen
No,
to
not
me.
yet.
Yeah, wake up with a song. I love my sleep, so yeah.
And your
That'd be a
father's
great
a
career.
musician too, right? So you got inspiration.
He was a musician, yeah, and we grew up with piano in the house, and he liked to play Beach Boys, and introduced us to a lot of that sort of music. Our mum has a voice as well. She hides it, but she does sing every now and again. And yeah, I think they both worked in music and both worked in TV as well. So I think when it came to us doing the jump into what we do, they were very accepting. So I left school when I was 17. I left college when he was 18, and yeah, there was obviously a bit of friction with our mum with that, but eventually she kind of let go and saw that there was an opportunity and that we loved what we were doing, and she couldn't deny us of that. And now she's got 3 kids, 2 adopted kids in in America, doing a tour. She couldn't be any prouder.
she's very
I
happy
can
and
feel
proud.
her smile.
We could not imagine, like, just when we started out doing this, or when we met these guys busking, that we would be sitting here in a TV studio chatting to your fine self. It's bizarre for us.
We're very happy to have you guys here, all the way from Dublin. I know you guys are huge in Dublin. You've been #1 on the charts in Dublin, and done very, very well, and released quite a few songs and an album last year, a full studio album. So everything looks great for you now. How going back to the family dynamic, I read where your parents were from England, and so doesn't that to further complicate things? I mean, if they had a British accent, and you're growing up with an Irish accent. Same family, same house.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Our mum is an anomaly. I don't understand. She's been living in Ireland now for over 25 years, and she's still got the most British accent ever.
It's gotten even more British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, my boys are over in America.
A spot of tea.
But at the same time, it has developed all the traits of an Irish mammy. Yeah. So yeah,
Are you familiar with that term, an Irish Irish mammy?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's I think it's quite culturally goes across the board, but particularly Irish mammies, they have a kind of
Very caring and honest way.
Okay.
But honest, but maybe a little bit brutal. Like the classic thing is the stereotype is the wooden spoon. The wooden spoon.
Oh boy!
You don't want me to get the wooden spoon out now, do you? No, that's like if you're, if you're being bold, if you're being, that's a bit far. But like there's the Irish mammy thing. It's like always coming in, offering you tea all the time. Mrs. Doyle from Father Ted is a bit like an Irish mammy. But a cup of tea, go on, you have a cup of tea. You will. You go on, you will. It's that sort of mentality.
I can tell you guys are a lot of fun to hang out with. Hudson Taylor. Now it's Bear Creek to Dame Street. Now is there a place called Bear Creek and Dame Street, I assume?
Yeah, so this is like a mini album. We were thinking of it released on vinyl, so it's got two sides. So the first side is all brand new music that we've written over the last 2 years, and we recorded that in Bear Creek Studio in Seattle last year. And then, we're from Dublin, like you said. We played a gig there in one of our favourite venues in Dublin called the Olympia Theatre. And it was a sold-out show, headline thing, and it was just an amazing gig. And when we were getting the Bear Creek EP together, we also got some live recordings back from that concert in Dublin. And it just sounded really good. The crowd were on point. They were singing really well. And we just decided, like, we have to release these, why don't we put it together?
Yes,
and
it's like a nice contrast, because the new tracks, the live tracks the studio tracks are brand new, and then the live tracks are kind of older songs that people who haven't heard us before wouldn't necessarily know. So it's lovely for us being out here on the road in the States. We're able to sell something that kind of is like almost a bit like a business card for what we're about. It's new stuff and old stuff, because as you said, we've been going for the guts of 10 years, and the older stuff is what we do live all the time. So it's nice for us to release live music, especially because we play live a lot. So
our older tunes in our first album was kind of done before we had the band setup that we do now. So it's got, for example,
it features all of these guys playing.
Live on stage and singing also in the studio as well.
And the album, or at least some of the music that you've done, has been produced by someone who worked with the Lumineers.
Yeah, Ryan Hadlock. So he owns Bear Creek Studios, and he had us out there. And that was
so. It's not something from Dublin, and it's something from Seattle.
Well, I tell you, it took 6 weeks in Seattle to record a number of tunes, and then in Dublin it only took 6 minutes or something, because it was all live and all done that night. And yeah, we demo and record in Ireland all the time.
Well, you guys sound great. Hudson Taylor, would you do another song for us?
We will, of course. Yeah,
absolutely.
This is a quieter one now. It came out earlier this year, and it's called Old Soul. Look at the fire as it burns out. Look at the time, where are you now? I wanna be there when you get cold. I'm an old soul. You're an old soul. We are dreamers. I believe in us. Look at our love as it grows old. Who would have thought it was pure gold? I wanna be there when it's set in stone. I'm an old soul. You're an old soul. We are dreamers. I believe in us. I was scared, so unprepared for me to fall in love. But you were there, you were where I found my freedom. I'm an old soul. You're an old soul. We are dreamers. 'Cause I believe in us. I'm an old soul. You're an old soul.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you, Larry.
Lovely, lovely. Hudson Taylor, our guests here on Border Crossings today. How would you describe your music? Is this very Irish influenced, or are you getting influences elsewhere?
I would say as a really quick one is folk rock, I'd say, because we have elements of them both. We're very inspired by Americana music and kind of 60s and 70s folk sort of harmony.
Yeah,
that sort of scene
like Crosby,
this
Stills,
side of the
Nash,
world.
Simon and Garfunkel, that kind of thing. We would have been inspired by, but also back home in Ireland, there's a great singer-songwriter tradition. The likes of like Damien Rice and Glenn Hansard and a whole horde of bands and great bands that come from a similar kind of background, rootsy, busking on the streets kind of vibe.
Also, I'd say meeting these two would have influenced us a lot. They're both Irish speakers and play traditional Irish music. So, you know, we've gone to gigs with them from an early age. Keela is one of them that we all love, who are kind of a fusion.
Yeah.
Fusiony sort of trad band.
When we play live, we obviously have these guys, but we also have a rhythm section, drums and bass. I actually play electric guitar normally, so it's a bit more rock and roll kind of, but
elements of that.
This stuff is still involved. In fact, like that song, we play it pretty much exactly like that, you know, just with a bass and a really subtle bit of drums. But you know, our show is kind of, if you come and see us live, or if you hear our records, you get a nice mixture of quite like energetic and punchy rock and roll sounding type thing mixed with a bit more folky, Irishy thing.
Yeah. I did Irish dancing for 12 years, so I have this just in my head, ingrained in there. Yeah, that's the soundtrack to my life. I did a little loop, yeah.
Now, you guys were on tour in Ireland all of last year, and now you're here in the United States. Is this your first American tour?
It's our second American tour, but it's our first real one with the band and, you know, big venues and everything like that. We came out here and did an intimate tour in February, yeah. So it was just the two of us playing as a duo. We were supporting my partner, Gabrielle Applin. She was doing her own tour around the States.
Yeah, now we're out here at the moment, going around the States. We have a few of our own shows, like we're playing in Washington tonight, but we're actually out here with Hosier, who's another Irish artist.
Right.
So we're the opening act for him, and that's an amazing, I mean, it's been so amazing. We've never experienced the crowds really quite like it, like proper big American theaters, 2,000, 3,000 people a night, and just we're getting such a warm reception. It's so lovely.
Yeah, and like very grateful just for the opportunity to be out here, and kind of while we're out here, we've been organising our own shows, you know, to see who even listens to us over here, what sort of people come out and say hello. And we've had 2 of those shows so far, one in New York and one in Boston. And yeah, it's fantastic.
Great, huh?
We can't wait to come back and do some more.
Excellent. And I know you're managed by the same person that manages Hosiers.
Absolutely. That helps, of course.
Yeah, of course,
yes,
of course. So having toured in Ireland and being stars in Ireland and then coming here, what's the difference between the audiences there and here? Is there a difference?
I think American audiences are very good. Like, I mean, this is the place we played in Dublin, the Olympia Theatre. It's the same size roughly as about the venues we're playing on this tour. Our crowd are obviously amazing, and they know our music, so they're singing along. But in terms of enthusiasm, it's on par with our own crowds back home, I think.
Because we consume less beer at concerts, I think.
That's probably part of it, you know.
Could be a big part of it.
A big part of it, yeah.
Do you know, I'm actually baffled by the level of respect we've been given as a support band. You know, just myself going to support bands, I usually don't, you know, I'm there to see the main event, and so everybody is in there to see Hosier, and rightly so. He's amazing, and he sold out the tickets before we even were on the tour.
Right.
So the fact that people are actually listening to us, it feels like really, really listening to us, enjoying, singing along. You know, we like to get people singing along at our shows. Is something that's we've supported other artists in other countries, and you know that's never happened.
We've
never
had a few standing ovations
like
in the seated venues. We've walked through the crowd to go up to the merch desk to say hi to people, and we've had people applauding us. You know, just walking through the crowd. It's a really warm, lovely feeling, and
that's never
happened to us in any other country.
Well, you guys sound great. I mean, the harmonies are great. The music, the meaning, the lyrics. You know, it's very well put together. It sounds great.
Thank you.
I like the production. Hudson Taylor is in our studios, and you've also done some major festivals. So when you do these festivals and you do these shows with thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people, then you do a club where there's several hundred. Do you have a preference? I mean, it's a different feeling. One's more intimate, the other's larger, but...
I mean, you can have a really bad day at a festival where it's raining, but the crowd could be amazing and they don't care and they're dancing in the rain, and that can be the best thing ever. Or you can have a really hot sunny day and it can be the same thing. And then vice versa. I mean, with the club venues, it can just be, it's really down to the crowd, I always find. The room it can be like, oh, this is a lovely room, but then the room can just be made into a nightmare because people are talking too much. But most of the time we're very lucky and our crowds are being really respectful. I love venues that are 200 people. These size venues, the theatres that we're doing, 1,000 or 2,000, that's my ideal thing. I'm not a massive fan personally of like arena size things. I find it can be a little bit not too intimate. It's not as intimate. You don't feel as connected. Some artists do a really good job at presenting themselves in that kind of setting, but we'll see. Maybe one day we'll get there and we'll try and make it into a more intimate thing. Cause
is that your goal? Like one day to play Wembley or?
It'd be nice to be
something
playing
like that.
It'd be nice to be doing a tour like Hosier's doing. This sort of size venues in the States that's a pretty good goal to.
And you were once also with a major label, Polydor, and now you're with a different label. Is there a different vibe, or because you can approach your music differently when the major label wants more control, and then you get more control with a more smaller indie type label?
Absolutely, yeah. So like when we started 2011, when we started taking this quite seriously, we moved to London, signed to Polydor Records. Our friends were in university or in college, and we kind of saw it as our way of doing that. We had 3-4 years of just time to figure out what music industry is. So we did that, learned an awful lot, released one album, and it was different. It was London, much more serious place, a lot of competition, I suppose, in the bands. I hate seeing it as competition. And then we kind of finished up that album cycle and looked elsewhere for a record deal or a manager or something, and we got very lucky. Played a gig back home, and loads of interest started coming up with the label we're on now, Ruby Works, and so we met them there. We grew up 10 minutes down the road from where their office is.
Wow.
So
I now live back there now, right beside it, not in my family home, but I just happened to get an apartment like 2 minutes from the label, so I can actually knock on the label door and be like, hey, why aren't you doing your job?
Well, it's not.
He hasn't had to do that yet.
No.
It's not easy to find Irish food in the United States when you're on tour. Do you find yourself missing home a little bit?
I've found it.
You found some.
Yeah.
Ireland's not the
Every place you go.
Ireland's not particularly known for its culinary.
No?
Exporting.
Butter.
Cabbage,
We're good on.
cabbage.
We do butter very well.
We're good on Guinness and butter.
There you go, Guinness.
Yeah.
You can find Guinness anywhere.
Yeah.
Hudson Taylor are in our studios. Would you guys do another song?
Oh,
for
we'd
us?
absolutely love to.
And
Thank you.
Oisin, will you please do the little jig at the end of the song, just for the crack?
Oh, a jig. We're going to have a jig too.
Oh, it's a reel.
Well, it's a reel.
It's actually a reel, isn't it?
A polka.
It's a polka.
So this song's called Battles, and we end everything, all our shows with this song, and yeah, it's on that. It's on the CD too.
On that CD, yeah.
I was climbing, now I'm falling. I've been pushed off by a man who's made it to the top and now defends it 'cause he can. And I have found a breach in his front line. I was open, now I'm hidden from the danger of his words. I have found a good position and I'll play for what he's worth, and he will find nowhere left to hide. I will lift her love and I'll break your spirit. I will dig a hole and I'll throw you in it. Only time will tell if we're all just cynics on the run. If we're all just cynics come undone. I'm not afraid to draw my blood. I'm not backing down, so I'd surrender, 'cause you shouldn't face the truth. You raise the flag, I'll tear it down. Oh, you may have won the battle, but I'll take the fight to you. And your flag is on the ground, and your bones, they rattle too as I break you. Your fear has now come true. Your spirit, I will dig a hole and I'll throw you in it. Only time will tell if we're all just cynics on the run. If we're all just cynics come undone. All just waiting for the gun. We are tied to the truth, the tie that binds me to you. And I'm acting on my words with all that I have heard, with honesty in mind. You'll find that I'm not the lie. See the truth in my eyes. I'm not the lie. See the truth in my eyes. In my eyes. I will lift her love and I'll break your spirit. I will dig a hole and I'll throw you in it. Only time will tell if we're all just cynics on the run. I will lift her love and I'll break your spirit. I will dig a hole and I'll throw you in it. Only time will tell if we're all just cynics on the run. If we're all just cynics come undone.
love it. Hudson Taylor sounding great.
Thank you so much,
Sounding
Larry.
great. Now, you look a lot like James Dean. I don't know if anybody ever
Thank you
told you.
very much.
That was my best impression. But, yeah.
But it's great to meet you guys. How about social media? Where can people find you around the world?
So we're Hudtay Music on Instagram. We use that quite a lot. It's kind of a nice backstage diary to what we do day to day, which, as you can imagine, is crazy.
Hudson Taylor on Twitter, Hudson Taylor Music on Facebook. Just if you just search Hudson Taylor band on Google, you'll
Yeah,
find
you
all
will
the
get
links.
this Christian missionary guy, but that's not us.
Not you guys.
So we just happen to share the same name.
Bear Creek to Dame Street is
That's
the
the
new
one.
EP, and it's available on your website
Absolutely.
and also iTunes, Amazon, everywhere people can get a CD. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Hudson Taylor and Bear Creek to Dame Street, the new EP. My name is Larry London. You're tuned to Border Crossings.